Welcome to CamLogic's Tech Tuesday. Today's presentation will start in 1 minute. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of CamLogic's Tech Tuesday. My name is Josh Ponzetti and I am the Solid Edge Applications Engineer at CamLogic. Tech Tuesday is our free weekly 30-minute tips and tricks webinar. Today's topic is ST5 Synchronous Technology. Before we get started, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about who is CamLogic. CamLogic is a leading provider of product lifecycle management, or known as PLM solutions, 3D scanning and rapid prototyping technologies and services to help companies design and build better products, improve processes, and reduce cost and maximize profitability. We provide unparalleled 3D engineering technological solutions along with the services and support to ensure our client success. CamLogic is a Siemens PLM solution partner. We offer the complete Siemens software suite, including NX, Solid Edge, FEMAP, and Teamcenter. We also have a complete array of 3D printing hardware and service solutions, including the 3D Systems Project Series and the Z Printer Series, which is the most affordable color 3D printer on the market. 3D scanning technology rounds out our trifecta of engineering solutions, from state-of-the-art hardware like Romir Absolute Arm, Shape Grabber, Z-Scanner, and cutting-edge time-saving inspection and reverse engineering software products from Geomagic and RapidForm. CamLogic is here to provide a variety of solutions to meet your business challenges. We also offer professional, high-quality, in-house scanning services. All right, let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about what we're going to get into here today. Again, the topic is ST5 Synchronous Technology, and you can see here that we have a list of things that we plan to cover. I'm going to go ahead and go through these one by one. We're going to look at the steering wheel function. I've done a couple things previously through the Tech Tuesdays that cover some of that functionality. We're going to elaborate on it and still kind of go back and refresh our memories from what was done last time. We're also going to look at relationships. This is the foundation and the building blocks of synchronous technology. We're going to make sure that we try to cover those in depth to make sure that the understanding of the relationships, and then our next item, live rules, come to life for you. Pmi Dimension Edits are also going to be covered. This again is going to be the dimensions that are placed onto solid model geometry, or better known as PMI dimensions in Solid Edge. We're also going to do a little bit of feature creation, and last but certainly not least, we're going to look at the Solution Manager. Now the Solution Manager is new to ST5, but is, in my personal opinion, just the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to synchronous technology. It truly is powerful and intuitive and offers a lot more simplified understanding of what's going on when you're working in synchronous technology and doing the different synchronous edits. So moving on, let's take a little trip back. This is a slide that I used in a previous Tech Tuesday that I did a Solid Edge tips and tricks and started to introduce everybody to the steering wheel. You can see that I included some functionality in this slide, so we can move, we can drag, we can copy, and we can rotate. That's all functionality of the steering wheel. And we're going to go ahead and revisit all that here today and then elaborate on it. The next thing I want to do is just take a quick minute. Let's break down the steering wheel and all the components that make it up. I have an image up here, and you can see the graphical representation of the steering wheel. You can see there's some balloons or call-outs there. I'm just going to go ahead and go down the list. You can see starting with call-out number 1, you got the secondary knob and the secondary axis. Now we have the cardinal points, which there are 4 located around the torus. Number 4, the next line item being the torus, that's the round circle that sometimes is referred to as the steering wheel. I've kind of heard that starting to come through. The entire image is the steering wheel. The torus is what surrounds it. Primary knob, primary axis. Again, that's the primary is going to be the longer axis, secondary is the shorter. We have our origin on center, and then we have our tool plane, and that's number 8. So we want to make sure that we point that out. That actually exists within the steering wheel, and it's got some pretty cool function that we're going to go ahead and cover as we go through the demonstration here today. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get to work. I got a model up here on my screen, and pretty much what we have here is not a very complex model. It's got some holes in it. We got some angled faces, and so it's definitely got some features. We even got a couple dimensions in here. So the first thing I'm going to do, and anytime you start anything in synchronous technology, you're going to want to go ahead and grab a face. Now, I want to stop for a second. A couple things to point out here. Once you grab that face, you have a pull handle, or what would be the beginning of the steering wheel, that would have the primary axis and an origin. Then down here you can see that what is displayed is the live rules. A couple things to take in consideration on the live rules. Right now you see some white boxes and you see some kind of light orange boxes. Okay, if the boxes are light orange, that means that they're going to look for that relationship. All right, what I'm going to do here first is I'm just going to turn all these off. Now, by clicking on them, you can toggle them off and then back on. You can see if I toggle that back on, this orange is going to look for that. If it's white, if I turn it off, it's no longer looking for that relationship. So there's just a little bit of turning the live rules on and off. So now that I've turned all that off, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my primary axis here, and you can see that this is now allowing me to create the edit. Now you can see my holes are staying in place, my top surface is moving. I also have the opportunity to type in a finite value. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in 12 millimeter, and you'll see that it'll go ahead and it will accept that change. Now that we've changed the part, you can see that the steering wheel has displayed after the change. Actually, anytime that you make a change or select the origin off of just the single primary axis, the steering wheel is going to display. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that origin. It allows me to move the steering wheel wherever I want. I'm going to bring that off to the side here, and we're just going to kind of look at the steering wheel for a minute. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is those cardinal points. Now the cardinal points are going to reorient my primary axis about the torus. So you can see in 90-degree increments, I can go ahead and reorient that primary axis. The next thing I want to do is I want to hold down my shift key, and if I select my primary knob, now I can go ahead and rotate infinitely to put the direction that the steering wheel would be moving, and key in that value to go ahead and allow for infinite radial movement there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my secondary knob. Now this is something I want to show you. All you have to do is click and drag this knob, and it will rotate in 90-degree increments. Okay, so this is what allows you, again, more flexibility in deciding in what direction you're going to be moving your steering wheel, and making sure that that orientation is exactly what you want. Okay, another thing that we can do is we can come in here and hold our shift key just like we did with our primary. Let me rotate this around here a little bit. Just like we did with our primary, we can select our secondary, and then we can key in um, an angle value for infinite rotation of the secondary axis. Okay, so now we have all those. The last thing I want to show you here as far as the orientation of the steering wheel is by holding our shift key and selecting our tool plane. You can see that that will flip the axes. So the secondary axis took the direction of the primary and the primary took the direction of the secondary. This is coupled with all of the other movement functions I showed you. This is how you can kind of complete the setup of your steering wheel and basically move in any direction you possibly could want to. Now, this right quick I'm going to show you is kind of a tip and trick. This is what hopefully will help you guys to begin doing synchronous edits with included offsets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the shift key. I'm going to select that primary axis. You can see I can type in a value that primary axis will move away from that steering wheel. So if that steering wheel was sitting on a face, I could offset it from that face a certain distance, and then when I do that synchronous edit or move, it will include that that amount of offset. So there's just a little bit of information for you there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, now that we've kind of gone over the steering wheel a little bit, we've already done a quick synchronous edit. I'm going to go ahead and grab my front face. Now I'm going to show you a couple of options you have when you're moving in a synchronous edit. You can see that right now that front face is moving in and out, and I want to point out the fact that when those angles run out, those become sharp corners and that front face continues to move. Okay, a couple things that we can do with this. I'm going to hop up here to my toolbar, and I'm going to hit this drop down. Now you can see on the command bar here we have tip and lift. It's currently set to extent trim. So if I select my tip, I want you to notice how this synchronous edit is now moving. What it's doing is keeping the tip consistent, so that front face is staying the same and my angles are adjusting to the length that I'm moving in. The other option would be to lift. So if I come back in and I go in and lift, you can see now it ran those angles out and said, hang on a second, I'm going to take that front face and I'm just going to lift it right off that surface and keep everything normal to that front face. So you can see that we no longer have that angled face going in. We're actually pulling the normal faces to the front face that we're lifting. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that we can go ahead and focus on edits of that nature. So now I'm going to go ahead and escape out of that. Just want to show you guys that we can go ahead and move that in those two different directions. Now finally what we can do is we can always just hit our space bar, grab multiple surfaces, and we're going to bring them all together. And then that way they all move together, and for this instance, this is what the result I want. So again, we can always grab multiple faces and use all of them in the synchronous edit. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus my attention up here on my holes. So I got 3 holes here. And once I select that hole, you can see that upon selecting, I get my size, and then I also have a primary and a secondary axis displayed here. Obviously, if I select this axis, I can move in this direction. Okay? I'll go ahead and escape that. If I select that hole again, of course, I can grab the secondary and move in this direction. Okay? All right, so now you can see I have my steering wheel up here, and now remember, if we hold shift and hit our primary knob, I can then put in an angle. But this time I don't want to key in an angle. I want to go ahead and pick up some existing geometry, and I'm going to grab this endpoint right here. Okay? And I want to align this to the existing geometry. So now, if I grab my primary, you can see I'm moving right in the direction of that axis. Okay? And finally, as we're going through our edits, we can always grab our tool plane, and our tool plane allows us to move that hole infinitely. We can move it around in circles, do anything that we wish to do with that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit V on my keyboard. Now you're going to see it's going to dump me into what is the Solution Manager interface, but all I'm using this for is just to pause things. We can see that we have some red boxes down here, okay? In the live rules, what that's doing to us is that's actually telling us, hey, we can see that there, but right now it's not active. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and grab the tangent, or I'm sorry, the concentric and tangent, all right? And now if I accept adding those two live rules, you can see, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, you can see that now we're moving. That part is going to stay tangent and concentric on the hole, and we're going to move together. So I'm going to go ahead and pause that again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add symmetry. So once I add the symmetry and accept, now watch. Now it's sensing that other hole is symmetric, and I can move those two and include now both of those sides, the angles, and everything in my synchronous edit. I'll go ahead and pause this one more time. Now what I want to add is my coplanar axes. Now what that's going to do is that's going to pick up everything. Once I accept that, it's going to pick up everything for all my holes, keeping them aligned, and as I move, you can see that the geometry is being tied down onto one another. We'll pause it one more time. Now I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab keep orthogonal to base. Now, when I select this one and accept, you're going to notice that now my holes are moving, but now all of my sides are staying orthogonal. Okay? And of course, once we get to a comfortable place, we can click to accept. Okay? Okay, so now you can see hopefully a little bit of the live rules, how we can filter them, how we can filter them, how we can set them up, toggle them on and off, and then use that to support our current edits in the synchronous environment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I want to show you some dimensional editing options that you have in the synchronous environment. So if I go in and select this dimension, I can always edit that value, and again, we have some directions we can choose. The first one, you can see that if I select this arrow, I'm moving in this direction, so if I add any material to that edit, it's going to go in this direction. If I go over to this direction, you can see that it's going to add material in that direction. And new to ST5, we can add material in both the directions or symmetrically. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and type in 160. Now before I hit enter, I want you to notice that all of those relationships that we detected through the live rules, they're going to stay consistent. Again, keeping the holes concentric to my part radiuses and edges, and all of that changes nicely right together through a dimension edit. Now I'm going to take a quick minute and I'm going to show you that not only can we edit the dimensions, but now we can come in and we can lock them. Now if we go in and lock a dimension, that's going to make it so that that dimension drives that width. When we decide that we're going to go in and create a synchronous edit, we can select that primary axis and you'll see how it automatically fail. The reason why is that 160 millimeter dimensions locked. So a quick Control E will dump me right into the Solution Manager. And it's letting me know right now, okay, hey, listen, you have this green surface that you're looking to move this way. This is failing. This is orange. What we need to find out is what's causing it to fail. Well, it just so happens that this dimension is orange as well. So, real quick, blue means it's coming along for the ride. Purple is just the color provided to like a procedural feature. Anything that's failing would be orange. So in this case, we want to click on this dimension. Now watch what happens. It's going to kick them surfaces out. Notice that it kicked them out symmetrically. We can always turn that off. So now we can take off that symmetric. We can accept. And you can see I'm moving in this one direction. Okay, so basically what we did is we relaxed that dimension. We said, hey, listen, don't interfere with this edit. We want to go ahead and do that. And then, of course, we can always come back and we can turn our symmetry back on through the live rules. So, you know, we can go ahead and obviously once you can key in a value or when you're content, you know, just click the place and hold. So again, now we can lock and unlock dimensions. We can go through and also utilize all of our dimensioning to also control our part. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a feature, and this is going to help show how to apply relationships. So if I come in here and you can see that I have some sketches created that I want to utilize. So if I select sketch 6 and I show it, now you can see that the sketch is in my drawing, but it's kind of in the middle of the part here. Sketches do also acquire a steering wheel, and the steering wheel's functionality is the same as it was for the solid geometry. So if I select this primary axis, I can go ahead and begin moving that sketch up in my part. And if I need to, I can go ahead and grab an existing point on my part, and now I can begin utilizing that geometry to make my synchronous feature. Once we have sketch data on a surface, we can then begin selecting regions. So you can see I selected this region. I'm going to use my spacebar so I can add another region. And now I'm going to come down and begin cutting this feature in. Quick note, dual purpose functionality. If we go up, it's a protrusion. If we come down, we're looking to make a cut. Another thing to know, notice how that region, because of where I selected it, it's stopping it from going through the end of the part. In this case, I want it in the end of the part. So I'm going to open the cut, select my direction, and you can see that now that cut is going through the end of the part. I can also utilize some existing geometry. And we're going to zoom in here a little bit. Okay. So now I want to make sure that this cut goes right to the same depth as my angled face, and both of these angled faces are currently at the same depth. The next thing I want to do is come in here and I'm going to grab a coplanar relationship. Once I grab the coplanar relationship, I can select the seed face. So we select the face that we want to alter first. We accept that. Then I select my target face. Grab that again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab my regions again. Begin cutting through. Again, I want to open that up. And I'm going to grab that cut. Now I can come in. I'm going to grab my seed face, accept, and grab my target face. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and we're going to grab our slots. And this is going to showcase a lot of what we were looking at with the Solution Manager. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to zoom in here and I'm going to grab this end of the slot. When I select that end of the slot, I'm going to begin moving. And you can see that that begins to add that slot. Now I can come back here and I want to filter for coplanar, and you can see that all those parts are now filtering for coplanar. Now I want to re-establish those slot lengths to this vertex that I selected down here. And the next thing I want to do is now I'm going to come in, I want to show you guys something really quick that's a good thing to know about. If we go in and begin editing slots, what I want to do is I'm going to come down here and I want to show you that Live Rules is adjusting 20 faces. So there's a little status bar down here that's going to let you know, hey, this is how many faces that we're moving. Right now, you can see that I have 3 faces per side, so 6 faces per slot times 3 is 18, but it's moving 20. What I want to do is I want to come down here and I want to show you that these faces are moving right now. Okay? So what I can do is a quick Control-E, again, will put me back into my solution manager, and I can just go ahead and click off those faces because I don't want to include them. I can accept, and now you can see that we are just editing the 3 slots. Okay, what if I only wanted to edit the top and bottom slot? Okay, I can come back in to my solution manager, and now I can disregard this slot, and once I accept, you'll see that only the top and bottom slot is now editing. So I can key in a value, and so I'll make that 10 millimeter smaller, and you can see now we have done a number of different things and hopefully gotten a little bit more comfortable with synchronous technology and what we have going on within the synchronous environment. And so now let's go ahead and take a look. So what did we actually do? We looked at the steering wheel and its function. We talked about live rules and worked with them. We also looked at the Pmi Dimensional Edits and locking, unlocking, keying in new values. We worked with the Solution Manager while making synchronous edits, and we added features to our part, used relationships to constrain our geometry. So, pretty busy day today, and we definitely got through a lot. Hopefully this helps everybody to begin to get a little bit more comfortable with the synchronous environment and see that functionality go to work for you. Now I'd like to take a minute just to talk about training. At CamLogic, we offer a large variety of hands-on, instruction-intensive courses for users at every level. Training is available at the on-site location of your choice or at one of our training labs located throughout the Midwest. For more information to register, please visit our website, and you can see here on the screen we have an upcoming Solid Edge ST5 Essentials class, October 1st through the 5th. It's a 5-day class, and that not only does it give you the essentials for utilizing Solid Edge, but it'll also give you a healthy dose of synchronous technology and the utilization of that through all environments of Solid Edge. Replays and other videos. Within about 24 hours, this Tech Tuesday will be recorded and placed on YouTube for your reference and viewing, obviously, as time goes on. And again, feel free to visit us at www.camlogic.com, or you can go directly onto YouTube, user CamLogic. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me at any time. Be sure to visit our website at www.camlogic.com. We can also be found on LinkedIn, Blogger, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This concludes today's edition of Tech Tuesday. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day.